Okay, it looks like I'm live. I'm just adjusting some things here. All right. We're talking about the new moon in Aquarius here. Let's turn on my video. Here we go. Hey, everybody. It's the new moon in Aquarius. That's right. It's exciting, except it's kind of heavy because Saturn's right there. Okay, so when we talk about a new moon, we're starting a phase. We plant seeds, set intentions. That's commonly what everyone says. And it's true. I mean, a lunar month is a real thing to me, to a lot of people. And so I really pay attention to these new moon moments. So I don't know if you're new to astrology or just curious or, you know, a veteran of astrology. It is a thing that we all look to for a start of a phase. This new moon in Aquarius is a new phase with what are the Aquarian themes? We're talking goals, networking. Aquarius rules large groups of people, so it's called the humanitarian sign because of that, where we have to really figure out what's best for the whole in Aquarius. And it's also referred to as the higher mind. Now, there is a traditional ruler of Aquarius, Saturn, and this is from ancient times that Saturn's been the ruler of Aquarius. But with the discovery of planets that we can't see with the naked eye necessarily, although Uranus is kind of debated there because you can kind of see it in dark star parks, but that's, you know, it's neither here nor there. Uranus rules upheaval and innovation, and it is referred to as the modern ruler of Aquarius. So we've got these co-rulers, okay, if we're looking at both the traditional and the new, Saturn, Uranus. Well, right now, Saturn is in Aquarius, in its home sign. Saturn, as the ruler of Aquarius, is how to innovate structure. You know, it's like, how do we redo this? It's like reorganizing DNA. That is the nature of Saturn in Aquarius. So it is innovation, but it still has those connotations of structure and how we can build and master, lead. Saturn is leading and achievement. It's also the authority. So you think of authority over large groups of people, right? Or maybe the goal is to master something with Saturn in Aquarius. The modern ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, is in Taurus. And those went through a series of 3 squares in 2021. Now, the 3 squares of Saturn to Uranus represented, because Uranus is liberation and upheaval. Saturn is structure and authority and the rules. And those squares, which is tension, a square is tension, indicated that we were trying to really liberate ourselves in the area of values and comfort. Taurus rules comfort. It rules the earth. It rules what makes us feel secure and our senses. And so all of that's sort of being turned on its head anyway. And that is not jiving really well with Saturn in Aquarius, because Saturn needs structure and it needs to, you know, innovate in an orderly fashion, achieve this higher minded sense of societal networks. Okay, that's Saturn in Aquarius. So these things have been in tension, and that's highly implicated in global upheavals, especially when it comes to, let's say, labor rights, things about how a society works together. The Saturn-Uranus cycle really tracks with some of these great moments in history. So we sort of came through that in 2021, but it's not over. Now, we won't have any more exact squares, but we will have close calls and things that really sort of set it off, okay? So this new moon is one of those things. And this new moon in Aquarius is very close to Saturn, the wall, the limitation, the obstacle, let's just say, the rules, and it's sitting there looming over us, right? But Uranus is in Taurus, and it's like, hey, let's shake it up a little. You can really conquer this wall. So we actually meet Uranus first. Uranus is at 10 degrees of Taurus, and the sun has squared Uranus already 2 days ago. And then we meet Saturn. But at this new moon, we're almost to Saturn. So it almost is like, going on an adventure or a mission or something of that nature, and up ahead you see a wall. And that's what this new moon is really, the feeling is. And that wall is, how are you going to make this work, world? How are you going to make this work? We have new values. We see things see things differently. I mean, we need to watch our plastic use, and what are these chemicals we put in stuff doing to our bodies? And viruses spread like wildfire when we have a population like we do, living the way we live. So that's Uranus and Taurus, and Saturn and Aquarius is like, what are you going to do about it? And so we have this like big wall, that's the best way I can describe it, to go around, to encounter, to climb over, to dig under. There are many ways. And so, yeah, this whole new moon phase has a lot of work encompassed in it. I do feel like we're going to be energized for it because the sun's already squared Saturn and said, you got to loosen some stuff up. We got to figure this out. So this new moon is like, okay, how are we going to do it? Now we take that down to the micro level, and how do you do that in your lives? So there's a lot of this new goal stuff coming in. People have these big new goals. And maybe it's not even clear to you yet. Mercury is still retrograde. See, during this new moon, Mercury in Capricorn, which is also a Saturn ruled sign, is retrograde, and it's stationary. It's standing still. And it's like this, we have to look at this. Now, Capricorn is less innovating structures and, thinking of society as a whole, as it is about the laws and the actual framework and the building that everything, the foundation that the building rests on. That is Capricorn. And so Mercury's retrograded back into Capricorn, met up with Pluto, which is like, no, we got to redo all this. We got to knock these walls down. This is no good. No, we got to redo this. So Mercury's met up with Pluto twice already, and it is now standing still during this new moon. So things feel very full, charged. What are we going to do? What is the thing? There's some searching involved, and so when it comes to setting intentions, that's what, a big thing people do during the new moon. They set intentions. And whether you know it or not, you're setting intentions. So I don't necessarily think, sometimes, if you're really into ritual and things of that nature, you can really kind of gear your rituals towards the new moon intention. But whether or not you're even following it, we are setting these intentions at the beginning. And it just so happens that the new moons are falling on the actual first days of the month. Now, granted, tonight's new moon is at like 11:45 p.m. January 31st in the central US time. So it is not necessarily on February 1st, but close enough for me. This is the beginning of the month, the beginning of a phase. Now, I should say overall, this phase, we cannot leave out like the entirety of the story. And that is at the full moon, February 16th in Leo. That will be squaring the nodes of the moon. That's where eclipses happen. And so we have this cross. It's like the sun up here, the moon down here, and then on each side there are the nodes, the eclipse points. The north node in Taurus, where Uranus is, which is causing all this upheaval, and the south node in Scorpio, which is the things we hold on to. It's fixed water. It's like a swamp. It's the way we transform ourselves and the deepest desires we have. So the full moon is going to break a lot of things loose. That's the way I see it. And really kind of like show us the way in a certain sense that we're going with the North Node in Taurus. So this whole phase is pretty, well, it's interesting. Let's just say that. There's a lot of change coming in, a lot of change coming in. Uranus has been implicated a lot lately. Venus just went direct, which it's still stationary. It's still at the same degree. Like when these things go direct, everyone celebrates, and you should, you know, like, yay, Venus direct, yay, Mercury direct, whatever. But generally speaking, it's like they stand still for a minute, which emphasizes the place that they are. So Venus went direct at 11 degrees of Capricorn, and Uranus is at 10 degrees of Taurus. Those are both earth signs, so they're both trine in a supportive aspect. And that is a huge upheaval, a huge, like, things are changing. What is this? So it's not just the new moon that's interacting with Uranus. On top of that, Jupiter is closer and closer to a sextile with Uranus every day. And Uranus is just shaking things up. Now, I don't want to leave my buddy Saturn behind because it's still sitting there as the wall. And that's what this new moon is contending with. So let's go through the rising signs really quickly before I move on to the rest of the week, because, and this is up on my blog already. You can go look at it at any time, ecstaticastrology.com, and totally free. Just go look at for your rising sign, and let's just see where this new moon in Aquarius, the themes come out for you. Okay. And I do this by rising sign because this indicates the house that it's in for you. Now you can do it by your sun sign. You can also do it by your moon sign. And even if you're into annual profections, which is a really cool technique, you can use your Time Lord. But let's just say rising sign because it's super cool and super easy to find out the theme. So for Aries rising, this new moon is a renewed determination to work towards your future goals. That is the Saturn in Aquarius part. And Saturn is now reaching the halfway point. It's going to traverse new territory pretty soon, if not already. No, it's out of shadow already. So it's traversing new territory. So in the second half of Aquarius, you've got this determination to work towards your goals, toward expanding your network. This could be based off of shifts in your finances or self-worth, because we're looking at Uranus in your second house. So it's like something in that area, how much I feel I'm worth, how much my assets are being added to or taken away from, whatever is shifting in your finances or self-worth, that maybe you're looking for more freedom there. That is Uranus. Maybe there's been upheaval there. That is Uranus. It is causing you to say, okay, I have to put in the work for these goals. That's Saturn. I got to put in the work for my future goals to expand my network. I will say this for everybody, and for any rising sign, this really starts to kick off this weekend because the sun passes Saturn. Okay. So if you have that in mind, okay, I need to network. I need to see what groups of people I need to be working with. And I need to put in work on these goals. That's what's happening. But you also have to make sure to feel liberated in this financial area and this self-worth area. They're both working in tandem, kind of tense, kind of uncomfortable to have those two at odds in a certain way, but they also provide the need for action. And that's ultimately what we'll feel. Taurus rising. This is a renewed determination to work towards your career, your public reputation, authority. Saturn is in your 10th house of career, authority, public reputation. So you're putting in the work there. This could be based on shifting values in your whole identity. What autonomy means to you, what independence means to you. Uranus is in your first house. That is you. That's the way you appear to people. So basically after these transits, because the 10th house rules public reputation, because the first house is you, I don't expect people to be looking at you the same way anymore. Like this is like, whatever happens, you're driving this boat though. Make sure it's where you want to go. Now the complication could come in. I want to have crazy red hair, but the place I work at doesn't allow it, right? That's career stuff. That's the work you got to put in on career. So you have to decide what you're being drawn towards. What is the place that feels most true to you, right? That's the thing. So putting in work career, public reputation, authority. That means stepping out sure of yourself. So whatever you need to do to your identity to make that happen, now is the time. Okay, Gemini rising. This is a renewed determination towards higher education, travel, or getting clear on your personal worldview based on changing values, especially regarding spirituality, dreams, or subconscious tendencies. Let me break that down for you. So you are deciding to be more sure of your personal truth, the way you look at the world. This could indicate that you're putting in work towards higher education, towards learning some new things, towards travel, expanding your mind, adventure, and philosophy. What do you believe this reality is? That is what Gemini Rising is putting in the work on. Now, Uranus, the upheaval, the liberation, the change is coming in your spirituality, and you're valuing that part of yourself more, or having some things uncovered there. Maybe you decide you find spiritual connection in this one thing that you never have before, but that makes you have to put in work to learn about it, right? So that is what you're dealing with. It's pretty abstract. It's pretty spiritual. That's what the new moon is for you. Okay, Cancer rising. This is a renewed resolve to construct concrete boundaries, to work towards empowering yourself. Saturn is in your 8th house, which rules shared resources. So making sure you know what you're worth, basically, and you know what you're allowing people to take and what you are demanding from others, or just taking. The 8th house rules inheritance, it rules investments. So you may be making investments of time. Please don't think it's just money. Money is time, time is money. So if you're investing time in something, that is an investment. You're doing a lot of work in that area. Now, Uranus is in the area of partnership and relationship. Wait, gosh, I was reading the wrong thing. It's in the area of goals and friend groups. It's in your 11th house. Still people though, so that wasn't too far off. This is though large groups of people. So think your network, and that's what is being changed for you. That is what is under innovation, under upheaval. So you may be meeting new groups of people or have entirely different goals that you just feel you need to pursue. Okay, that's going to change something in your 8th house. Boundaries. Maybe you need stronger ones for this new group of people that you're pursuing being a part of, or for a goal that you have to be very sure of how you share yourself and share your time. That is what this is about for you. The new intention, by the way, is going to be in the 8th house, though. So a new renewed resolve to construct concrete boundaries and work towards empowering yourself. Leo rising. This is a renewed resolve to work on and innovate how you relate to others based on shifting values in your career. Okay, so this is in your 7th house. This is romantic partners for you. That's where you're putting in the work. Could be friendships, could be even colleagues or clients. Okay, so you're having to work towards this, structuring this part of your life, maybe feeling like you have to do a little shoveling, a little building. Now, Uranus is in your 10th house of career and public reputation and legacy. Something about that is shifting, which is causing you to have to go work in your 7th house for some reason, okay? So maybe it's that you have this upheaval in your career and it causes you to, okay, well, I've got to meet more people on a daily basis. Or perhaps your partnership is really supporting you monetarily and that changes your career goals. Either of those is possible for Leo rising. This new moon is about how you innovate and work on your relationships and how you relate to others. Okay, Virgo rising. This is a renewed determination to work on your health, routine, and work life. Saturn's in your 6th house. You're putting in work in your daily life, in your work, possibly co-workers, dealing with some stuff there. It's actually a lot of work for you in the 6th house, okay? Sorry. I live with a Virgo rising, and it truly is. His company just got bought out, and he's like having to go to all these meetings, and it's like, whoa, it's very apparent that this is in his 6th house. He could be having health stuff, maybe wanting to get stronger and decide to lift weights or whatever it is. That is where your renewed determination is. Now, your Uranus part, this is based on shifts in your belief systems and worldview, maybe a desire to adventure and expand your mind. So there is like this absolutely burning fire in the area of your spiritual truth of, I know there's more to life. And so Saturn in your sixth house is a little bit of a bummer because Uranus is like, you need to get out, adventure, have fun, learn all the philosophies, do all the things. And Saturn's like, but work and health, we've got to take care of that. So it is a little bit of work, but if you get a good routine going and a good health, maybe nourishing yourself in the proper way, that will go a long way towards allowing that adventure to take place. What do you believe about your body? What do you believe about work? I think that's something to ask yourself for this new moon. But you are definitely determined to work on those areas, health, routine, and coworkers, work life, in order to get more enjoyment out of life. All right, Libra Rising. This is a renewed resolve to build structures that support your creativity, joy, and inner child. It's in your fifth house. This is about children, fun, joy. You are putting in work there. Sometimes that can seem a little bit of a bummer with Saturn in your fifth, because it's like, okay, how do you work on joy? Or is this just limitation to my joy? Or I just can't, I feel like creativity is a little hard for me right now. But you have some changes happening in how you partner with people, your boundaries, your investments, your inheritance, all of these things. Uranus is in your eighth house. So there is some shakeup there that's causing your creative life and your joy to be a little bit of a work in progress. But if you really commit to being creative, to your own happiness, what brings you happiness? It doesn't matter what they want from me, right? That's the work right now. Not many of these rising signs have the work of having fun, but you do, okay? But specifically for creative endeavors, children in your life, and your own inner child stuff. All right, Scorpio Rising. Renewed resolve to build a strong sense of emotional security. It's in your fourth house or your home. So Saturn in your fourth house generally indicates ancestral stuff, family stuff. There's work there. Or your actual literal home. You could be remodeling, you could be buying a new home. There's just a lot of energy and work going into your home, family, and all of the things that come along with it. So it's typically referred to as a place of emotional security. So you may be working on your own sense of security, your internal security. This is based on changes and upheavals in your relationships. Maybe you've got a new relationship and that's causing you to have to, okay, well, now we have to buy a home. We got a new relationship. Or maybe the relationship in your life changed and you have to move, all of these things are possible, but this is where the new moon is. It's in your area of inner security, leaning on your family. That means you may have to put work in, right? But it's renewed commitment to all of this, maybe even remodeling your house. Okay, Sagittarius Rising. This is a renewed commitment to trust yourself. Ah, yes, this is in your third house. And anything that happens in your third house, I say, is like, it's definitely to do with trusting yourself, because it's about your mental processes, how you communicate, how you speak your truth, how you gather information. By the way, the third house is also the place of siblings in traditional astrology. So could be some work that you have to put in with your siblings even. But this is, definitely putting in work on how you communicate, how you transmit information, and how you think, how you make decisions based on value shifts in your routines, health, and work life. So Uranus is in your sixth house. So routines may be experiencing some sort of upheaval, or you may experience some change in values about the way you work or your own health. And this is going to look back at that third house and go, do you trust yourself? It's time to make some decisions. So you have some decisions to make, Sagittarius Rising, and the work is going to come in trusting those, right? And also, do you gather the information? You may have to do some research. There's all kinds of stuff that could happen with Saturn in the third, because it rules your local community. It's like how you move about your local space. So could be a lot of short trips that you have to go on in order to support your new sense of values in your work life and your health, right? And your routines. Okay, Capricorn Rising. This is a renewed resolve to build your self-worth. Saturn is in your second house. So again, this can feel like limitations there in your finances and your self-worth. It seems like a huge wall you're rolling up to. Maybe it's that you have a lot of money to shell out soon. But this is all based on value shifts regarding children, creativity, and what brings you joy. So that is where Uranus is. So you could have had some upheaval in the area of children, idea of children, inner child, creativity, those changing values, liberation there. Maybe you've liberated yourself from, maybe you always wanted children and you find out you can't. Uranus in the fifth. You know, I'm liberating myself from that. It's tough. Some of these Uranus things are tough. It requires you to completely flip the script. Maybe you creatively did something and you're changing your values. You're like, I'm not a trumpet player anymore. I am, you know, an acrobat. That's Uranus in the fifth. And so it's like a pretty big upheaval. So with Saturn in your second house, this is like, okay, how do I financially support this new endeavor or this new way of being, this new way of pursuing joy, pursuing creativity? Those new values are new. What do I do with my money? Maybe I'm supporting that with my money, but there's work to do there, and including your self-worth. You got to know you're worth it, and you are. Okay, Aquarius rising. This is a renewed resolve to innovate identity. You've got Saturn in your first house right now. That's you. You're wearing Saturn on your sleeve right now. It's heavy. It's like, who am I? I got to do all this work just to be me, you know? And it may feel like that, but this is based on value shifts in your home, family, and what feels emotionally secure. So if you know, you have values changing in your family area, in your home area, in, like, for instance, maybe you've decided, I don't need this fancy home anymore. That is not me. So Saturn in your first house, identity, you are changing, you're doing work on your identity. Okay. So this new moon in Aquarius is about a new you and how you work towards being authentic and being fully yourself. And maybe Uranus and Taurus is giving you a family that absolutely just supports you and you're able to be yourself now. But that still means you have to put in the work to fully embody that new phase of identity shifts and autonomy and authenticity. Okay, Pisces rising. This is a little more abstract for you. It usually is for Pisces rising. The new moon and Saturn are in spirituality and subconscious area. So you really can't do anything. Like the Saturn work in the 12th house happens all on its own. And you can like maybe meditate and try to connect to your own sense of spirituality, take naps, sleep. That's a good Saturn in the 12th house thing. But there's not really much to do. It's more like undoing with Saturn in your 12th. So it's based on shifts and thought patterns. Uranus is in your third house. So the way you think about life is changing. The way you make decisions, the way you communicate. Maybe you've decided to communicate your worth to people more. Uranus and Taurus in your third house. This could also do with siblings in some weird way. I mean, the third house does rule siblings, or shouldn't say rule, indicates, brings up the theme of siblings, communication, decision making, all of that. So those things are changing the way you think. Well, that's going to change your subconscious in some way. So it's really abstract for Pisces risings. You don't really have to do anything but let yourself be undone. Okay, that's all the rising signs for the new moon. I'm going to quickly go through the rest of the week. Tuesday, February 1st, the moon is in the second half of Aquarius. It's charged with these new goals, right, that it got from its meeting with the sun. And, you know, it could feel a little detached or spacey, as a new moon kind of does. It hasn't even fully gotten light yet. So it's just sort of a baby moon. And Mercury retrograde is at its stationary degree. It is at the place where it's going to stop and turn around. So remember, Mercury at a station is acting like with emphasis. So it may feel like time stretches out, especially in Capricorn. Capricorn rules time. So Tuesday is for contemplating. Okay. That's what I'm going to say. Tomorrow is for contemplating. Wednesday, February 2nd, the moon moves into Pisces, like right around sunrise in the central US. not far from that in other areas of the US, but check your local time. It dials up the mystical vibes. Okay. So this baby moon is still separating from the sun. So it's still tiny, tiny in the sky. And in Pisces, it is in these mystical, foggy waters. And it's quickly ushered into a meeting with Jupiter. And that's awesome. Jupiter is abundance, and it's in its traditional home sign of Pisces. So you think we're also going to be intuitively connecting, synchronicities, dreams. I mean, it's going to be a really cool day for that. Have times when I think about, I go outside and I might hear a hawk scream. This has happened before. And I look up and the hawk flies overhead. And I take that moment and I breathe and I think, wow, I feel really connected. And it may sound cheesy, that's fine, whatever. But I do, and it's those moments, that's a Pisces moment. I have a Pisces moon, and that is a total Pisces moment where you just go, you see the meaning in everything, or the meaning behind things, maybe. There is a power in noticing your surroundings, but then looking past the material to witness the magic that is just there beyond reality. And those moments are really cool. So I expect Wednesday to be like that, generally jovial in nature. Because the moon's applying to Jupiter, we call this an auspicious day, a really nice day, lucky. And it's also in an opportunistic sextile to Mars and then Venus. So we get this glimpse of how do we bring our dreams into reality? Mars and Venus are in Capricorn. This Capricorn stuff, how do I bring my dreams into reality? The only caveat is that the sun is applying to a conjunction with Saturn. So this is what I talked about, even with the rising signs. The new moon is looking at this wall of Saturn, and it just gets closer on Wednesday, and we start to walk up to the wall. So we could feel the obstacles, the work, the limitations, but overall the moon and Jupiter and Pisces overrides this, I think, or at least allows us to let go a little, or to float a little and just kind of think or intuit what our moves are. So I think it's an overall good day, with the caveat of Saturn hanging out there. So on Thursday, February 3rd, the moon is still floating in the Piscean waters today. It makes a few opportunistic connections that will have our minds inspired and our spirit empowered. This transit does have the potential to lead us into some escapism. So try to stay grounded. Anytime the moon's in Pisces, that's a good idea. We're really connected to dreams and to intuition, but you can float off a little bit, escape. Naps and dreams are a good practice whenever possible. Now I should say Thursday, February 3rd, Mercury turns direct later in the day. It doesn't mean it moves. It just means that it is sort of turning around. Okay. And it just looks like it is in the sky, but it's based on the orbit, but it is not actually moving backwards, just so we can make that clear. So the thing is, Mercury turning direct means that it's stationing and emphasizing this spot. It's in a Saturn ruled sign. Combining the two Saturn influences with the sun sitting there with Saturn and Mercury turning direct in Capricorn, it could be a little bit heavy. Thursday, February 3rd, like there may be some obstacles to overcome, but our minds will definitely be highly active. I would watch your anxiety around this time. It's definitely going to be contemplative. So it's very necessary to take breaks from thinking or communicating on Thursday, February 3rd. You're going to need to take breaks and space out if you can, because the heaviness of the wall is there and we're trying to figure out a way around it. And it's just, I think that's a good idea. So 3 cheers for the moon in Pisces, helping us float away when we need to. If you have a decision to make or you're presented with one on Thursday, February 3rd, you might want to wait until the next Monday if you can. Just some stuff to think about. So Friday, February 4th, the moon's in Aries. This amps up passion, anger, motivation. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars has quite a few things going on. Mars is in Capricorn. It comes into a sextile with Jupiter on Friday, February 4th. Motivation, passion, even anger could be righteous in nature because Jupiter rules truth. It rules philosophy. And so when Mars makes a sextile to Jupiter, it's like this righteous warrior. Okay. So we may feel that spiritual or intuitive impulses are really leading us on Friday, February 4th, not in the Pisces way. Because Mars in Capricorn is a little more grounded. It's grounding the Jupiter and Pisces part of it, I think. Although that could be a caveat, like maybe rose-colored glasses or thinking things seem a little too good to be true. But I think Mars in Capricorn is really going to kind of ground the Jupiter energy in a way, while Jupiter feeds the Mars exalted in Capricorn energy. And I think that's really nice. So think, yeah, righteous warrior. We're fighting for our truth that day. Very auspicious. And also the moon's in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. So that's really great. We could probably be headstrong on this day on February 4th. Just watch that. So it's also the same day as the sun's conjunction with Saturn, which brings us right up to that wall. The Sabian symbol for the Sun-Saturn conjunction is a businessman, a big businessman at his desk. Well, there you go. A big businessman at his desk. The keynote is the ability to organize the many aspects of an enterprise involving a large group of human beings. So yeah, Aquarius is a large group of human beings. So this Sun-Saturn conjunction is a big deal when it comes to large groups of people, rules around how we gather, thinking, COVID, pandemic rules. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. So it's interesting that that is the Sabian symbol. It's like the big businessman at his desk, organizing the many aspects of an enterprise involving a large groups of human beings. So we'll see. We'll see what that does on a world stage. What is it in your life? We definitely have some business to take care of today. The sun is found a way by the afternoon, around, under it, maybe over it. And we can feel like, okay, we can begin. We've made it past the wall. This is a great, great thing. Not only that, but Mercury's direct. So we've got Venus direct, Mercury direct, and we've got Sun passing Saturn by February 4th in the evening. Yay! This is the real new year. February 4th is, just so you know. It's a foundation to jump from. It's really awesome. I will say Friday night, be aware that around bedtime, the moon squares Mars and then also hits Chiron, which can be a little sensitive or inflammatory. So just take care of yourself, cool yourself off. If you get angry, drink a big glass of water. That's my advice. I think it helps. Okay, Saturday, February 5th, the moon's still in Aries. It's making several connections. So first it squares Venus, which has just moved from its stationary degree. So it feels fresh, like we need to take action on something, especially relating to relationships or values. The moon then makes a sextile with Saturn and the sun. So that's really nice. Really nice. It gives us insight into where our energy is best spent. With Mercury and Venus now direct and moving, I think, Saturday feels like things move forward instead of being at a standstill. That's really nice. Sunday, February 6th starts with more mental gymnastics. I have to tell you that. The Aries moon is square Mercury. Mercury is our mind, and then Pluto and Capricorn. So it's like a good day to watch what you say, maybe pause and think before you speak. Moon and Mercury's transits tend towards speaking from an emotional place. Some things need to be said though. Like, that's what the whole Pluto thing is about. It's like, you're going to come up to something that's like, no, I said enough. That's a very Pluto thing. So the moon does square Pluto right after Mercury. It's very close and it could be a little intense, but it's definitely about speaking my truth, speaking from a place of empowerment. Just watch what you say. Don't speak from an overly emotional place and do yourself a disservice. So the cosmic landscape does change quite a bit in the early evening. And that's when the moon moves into the steadier and more deliberate Taurus. Pretty nice this Sunday night, maybe Sunday day is a little weird. Sunday night's really nice. Get comfortable, chill out, eat some good food. You'll need the rest because Monday the 7th is like extremely electrifying. Let me just go ahead and go over Monday the 7th. It is opening up a week of huge change, okay? The moon and Taurus conjoins Uranus. And they're both in a sextile to Jupiter and in a trine to Mars. Okay, now I know that sounds insane, but imagine it makes a little triangle like this. Like, I can't even do it. There we go. Like a little mini triangle. It's a cute triangle. It's really nice and it's really supportive. So it's a very incredible transit, but it is surprising. It's Uranus, and Uranus is upheaval, and Uranus is lightning and earthquakes, which you could have with Uranus and Mars. So let me go over this again. The moon and Uranus are together. They're sextile Jupiter. That's opportunity. They are in a supportive trine to Mars in Capricorn, which is acting in the towards achievement, our willpower. Okay. All of these are supporting each other. Surprises, inspiration, action, and achievement, and expansion and philosophy and spirituality. And it's like everything seems to be working in tandem on this Monday, but it's a wild energy. It's wild. Like things shift, change. It could be actual earthquakes or volcanoes. Who knows? I mean, with things the way they are right now. So stay flexible and channel the shifts. Use Mars and Capricorn. I'm going to change this because this is the thing I want to change right now. But overall, I mean, it's also moon moves on to make a trine with Venus later on this Monday, February 7th. And this is an extremely exciting, liberated, supported day. I'm very excited about Monday, February 7th. I'm just going to go on until the full moon. Tuesday, February 8th. I mean, if you're staying with me, you're staying with me. If you're not, you can skip ahead on the YouTube video or something. Tuesday, February 8th. It's the first quarter square of the moon. This is the first adjustment from the new moon, which I'm recording this at, okay? So it is the waxing half moon phase. This is like, okay, it requires action on those new moon intentions. So sometimes these first quarter squares can be a little tense, but overall it helps us move forward in our evolution. The tension comes from the Aquarian urge to restructure and innovate our framework versus the moon in Taurus, which is the emotional need to feel comfortable and secure. So you got those two things kind of in tension. In the evening, the mood does change though, because the moon trines Mercury. So our emotions and our minds are working really well together to help organize our thoughts. So Tuesday, let's just say Tuesday the 8th, the first part of it's a little tense. Later on gets a little better. The moon hits the north node in Taurus, which helps us hone in on our like direction with the eclipse cycle. So that's really cool too. So pay attention to your dreams as well. All right, Wednesday, February 9th, moon in Gemini. Buzzy, buzzy, buzzy head, communicate, gather data, ponder, socialize. That's Wednesday, February 9th. The only other significant aspects are moon square Jupiter and moon sextile Chiron. So overall, Jupiter expands the emotional impulse to share and to like socialize and gather information. And that's sort of what Jupiter does to this moon, especially on topics of philosophy and spirituality, I will say. At the same time, though, the sextile to Chiron makes sure we remember to remain authentic and accept ourselves. And so doing those in tandem is a little weird. It's just a buzzy day. Let me put it that way. Thursday, February 10th, the moon continues its journey through Gemini. Gemini's ruler Mercury, which is in Capricorn, is getting closer to its last conjunction with Pluto. The whole day holds significance. It's not exact until Thursday, February 10th in the evening, but it's usually the buildup that matters with these types of transits. So Mercury, Pluto is about, I'm done with this. I need to reclaim my personal authority and autonomy. So perhaps you decide to quit negative self-talk. It could be a situation in which you communicate your boundaries to an employer, you know. This is the nature of Mercury Pluto. You've already been here before twice. Mercury has hit Pluto twice before. This is the third and final time. So the possibilities are endless. What are you feeling the need to transform, to draw boundaries on, to empower yourself? Where are you tired of being disempowered? That is Thursday, February 10th. It's a big day. It also gives us a preview of Venus conjunct Pluto, March 2nd. So if you'll just note down, I mean, listen to your local astrologer, note down Thursday, February 10th, what you're feeling, relate it to March 2nd. That's all I'm going to say. You can tell me stories. I would love to hear them. Please, please let me know. So it's an excellent day to get work done as well, because the moon is trine Saturn and then trine the sun. Oh yeah, there's a brief square with Neptune and Pisces on Thursday, February 10th. It's sort of like, it's just fast, but deep thoughts, contemplation, those dominate the day. Friday, February 11th, the day starts out with the moon in Gemini void, of course. It's going to feel like you're spinning your wheels Friday, February 11th. Okay. Just don't plan to do too much. Moon void, of course, especially in Gemini, is not going to bode well for communication, for writing, for now. Listen, that's not the case for everybody, but I would say the majority of people that do anything with astrology would tell you they've had a void of course thing happen before, where you mean to start a project, you don't start the project until a void of course, and it's like you can't get anything done. So Friday, February 11th, just don't plan. I mean, if you obviously don't plan anything that you like really need to get done. Do it before, especially Thursday when the moon's trine Saturn. Friday, better to not plan a huge to-do list. Okay. Yeah, that ends around dinner time when the moon moves into Cancer. So that's really good. Saturday, February 12th. Happy day. We wake up, the moon's in Cancer, applying to a trine with Jupiter and Pisces. Oh, it's going to be nice and intuitive and magical and all up in our feelings. That's the truth. Saturday, February 12th, I would look at it as a great day. Plan some fun things. Toward the evening, the moon opposes Mars and Venus, which are traveling very close together at this point. Mars and Venus are going to conjoin very soon after this. So the moon is opposite that, which is really a chance to tune into our most profound security needs. Mars and Venus in Capricorn are really, that's what they're looking at, especially with the moon opposite that, what we truly need to feel secure. We have to tweak our structures and our boundaries and the rules around things. Mars and Venus also have a lot to do with relationships. So around Saturday, February 12th, you know, it's leading up to Valentine's Day. That's what's going to be happening. Sunday, February 13th, pay attention to your dreams. Today starts with another Cancer moon trining Neptune. Big mystical energy, big getting lost in our senses energy, maybe escaping. But you'll be pulled quickly back to Earth when the moon makes its way towards the opposition with Pluto and Mercury, because it will on Sunday, February 13th. We could have to, you know, confront an uncomfortable truth there, whether from the outside or inside, maybe desires we don't want to admit we have, or fears we don't want to face. Sunday evening, you know, just something to think about. Sit with any feelings you have on this day. They'll tell you everything you need to know about what you want out of life, which direction you need to go to feel empowered. Your emotions will tell you everything on Sunday, February 13th. Okay, Monday, February 14th. This is where the last day before I'm done. I know you're all very excited for me to have gotten through 2 weeks worth of astrology. I worked on it all day. The moon moves into Leo Monday, February 14th, and we are very close to a full moon. So the full moon is actually the 16th, but the moon moves into Leo already on Monday, February 14th, which is actually really nice for Valentine's Day. Sure, it has a ways to go until it's completely full, but the only transit that aspect it's really making on this day is trining Chiron and Aries. So this is very healing. Our inner child's going to lead the way to self-acceptance, to the things that bring you joy. even on a Monday, right? Valentine's Day is Monday, February 14th, and the moon leads the way on Moon Day. So it's about playing, about having fun, about accepting yourself, self-love, coupled with the fact that Mars and Venus are right together in Capricorn. Things can feel like they're really in alignment. It's the masculine. Mars is the masculine, Venus is the feminine, and we have both inside of us. All of us do. And when these things come into agreement, which is what a conjunction of Mars and Venus is, we really work in tandem. It's like we're firing on all cylinders, especially towards success, achievement, all these Capricorn things. So the universe does conspire to provide us with a pretty sweet Valentine's Day. I'm very happy about that. And with that, we're going to conclude our video. And thank you all for tuning in. By the way, we're putting on a workshop on February 5th and 6th, my friend Mallory and I. However, we have low signups and we don't think we can go forward with it if we don't get some more signups. So if you're feeling like you might want to do this workshop, which is linked in my bio, please go ahead and at least if you can't, sign up now, email us or something. Otherwise, we're going to make the decision to postpone it or something like that. So, yeah, please keep in touch, you guys. Always happy to do sessions with you and tell you how all of this is happening in your life. I promise it makes more sense when you put it on your own chart. It is not like probably as monotonous as me talking at you about it. But at least you have a weekday thing to now go, revisit. If you're having a particularly hard day, go to YouTube or go to my Facebook, fast forward to the day and find it. And maybe it'll help you get a little edge on things. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Mwah.